Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerdlings of all ages, welcome to round one of Toby's Tryhard tournament. This time the qualifiers are indeed on a Thursday. We join a whole bunch of teams in this most delightful lobby where in 4 games time we will be bringing you the top 2 and potentially a third team who will make it into round number 2. My name is Rozstrzelani. We are starting on Miramar. We've got 2 Miramar games today, followed almost immediately by 2 Erangel games. I hope you can stick around and enjoy the show. We've got a 7 o'clock to 12 o'clock circle, plane path even. On Miramar to start us off. It's been a long journey to get here, but we've made it here in the end, and that's what matters. So we can see most of the teams enjoying what will hopefully be a conflict-free jump out of the plane. However, we can already see Monte Nuevo is looking like it might end up being contested. I think everyone is out of the plane now. El Pozo also looking like it's going to be a little bit hot. So this will be very interesting indeed. Picardo also has 2 teams, and that's actually Team Liquid, dropping reasonably hot. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Who is dropping with the boys? Ooh, it's Agent's team who's going to be dropping right next to Team Liquid, and Marley almost immediately taking 40 points of damage from Ibiza on top of Boxing Ring. So they already know they have a little bit of a difficult task on their hands now. I suspect they'll know Team Liquid drops Picardo, but they definitely know someone's here, that's for sure, and it'll be interesting to see how this fight pans out and how Team Liquid want to approach things from an aggressive point of view. For now, they've let their opponents know that they're here, which is a great start, and they've also gotten to a position where I think they've bought themselves a couple of minutes to just loot up to their heart's content before moving into these buildings to face off against Agent Team. Elsewhere, let's take a look. We have got a team south of Monty, so that's not actually contested. We had a team drop short of El Pozo. That looks fine. This split here could be very interesting around water treatment. We might see Zero Kull and Ainat get pulled into a conflict reasonably early on, and we can see our first circle as well. It's going to be northwesterly. Not crazy northwesterly. The only impassable terrain here really is this bit here, so reasonably chilled out for a circle, and you'll see basically all but 2 teams of, well, yeah, only 2 teams are fully out of this circle. So it's not going to be a crazy amount of repositioning here. Mexi already taking positions against Agent Team. And just trying to keep them pinned down for now. We don't want them to run, because we do want to rack up those kills. At least that's what Team Liquid are thinking. Agent Team are thinking we have to stay together, and if we end up staying together, we could end up picking them off one by one if they push in. We can see K-Mind by Motel has a potential opportunity to move in on a flank on this 5-story building here. Marley has spotted people from the top floor. There's no one on the roof just yet. The roof would probably be a little bit too open in this position, to be honest. We've got Ibiza in... well, Ibi in Casino, and we've got James and Mexi in the apartment blocks. We're on board now with Andelco. Looking for either one of the guys in the apartment blocks to show their head. Won't be able to spot anyone just yet. Let's take a look at where R&R are. Okay, that's actually going to be reasonably close by to Los Leones. R&R are one of the teams, actually, that are fully outside of the circle as things currently stand. Hellaway has gotten dropped, and they'll be moving over to their body. What about the rest of Hellaway's team? Looks like Split Lips are actually still looting, unfortunately. So the rest of the team aren't exactly jumping to the aid of their teammate, opting instead just to give themselves a little bit more loot as a trio. And Team Liquid are looking like they don't want to have to mess with this sort of delay. If these guys aren't going to come out, then we're going to go ahead and rotate. A couple of shots go off onto Mexi from Mali. Nothing connecting just yet. I think the car might have taken a shot or two there. And it looks like things are pretty crisp right now. I'm not feeling like there's going to be that much more in terms of aggression in the short term. So I think things can settle down just a little bit. The odd snipe here and there. If they move in, we'll try and keep an eye on them for sure. Meanwhile, teams near San Martin. We're on board at the moment with the Santa Clowns. And have the Santa Clowns figured out that there's a crate here? Yes, turning off the engine, I suspect Tsiki is going to be spotting exactly that. So we have an AUG with full level 3 gear and a first aid kit. Absolutely delightful early game loot here for the Santa Clowns. They will be extremely pleased with that find. Nice little happy honk as things move in. Doesn't look like there's anyone crashing into anybody else at the moment. The rest of R&R have managed to move past Chumacer and are likely to move a little bit further north. So they could end up gatekeeping a team here, actually, which might be worth watching. There are a couple of teams moving slightly towards Crater Fields, and INAT might actually bump into Nexus Rising if they continue on their present course. So we'll keep an eye on them there. Doesn't look like they're moving fast enough to engage. INAT has actually stopped. You see some of Nexus's... Do I call them Nexus's vehicles or Nexus's vehicles? Obviously, if we're talking English, we go Nexi. But Nexus is a proper name. Oh, I don't know. We'll go with Nexus's. Just for now. Nexus's vehicles. I like it. It's got a ring to it. Ooh. Spotting people in the concretes now. INAT will be radioing that back to the rest of the team at YKT. A couple of DMR shots later. Someone's going to raise the alarm and say, actually, there's an SKS pointed straight at me. So probably not ideal. So they're going to go ahead and escape there. What else is going on in the world? Team Liquid are moving out of Picardo and are getting very, very close to Cesar from R&R. Mexi will hear the bike ahead of him. Oh, and spots him in that shed as well. Mexi's just running straight for it, not even caring. He's absolutely sending it right now. Here comes the grenade. There's going to be no chance. Absolutely no chance. There goes Caesar. And Mexi, without a single moment of hesitation, absolutely sending it into that shed and reducing R&R to 3 peeps. Now, R&R are a little bit stuck at the moment because we've got DeadButNotInside taking shots at both R&R and Team Liquid right now. So, Team Liquid are unlikely to push in, I suspect. R&R are caught in a bit of a sandwich. This is not an ideal position for them to be in at all. But I don't really see this fight progressing much further in the next 30 seconds. There's no one that needs to be in zone, for example. Everyone's comfortably inside. And I think, aside from trading a couple of shots and sort of losing some hit points on helmets and vests, these guys should be more or less okay for now. Team Nice Try, on the other hand, might be experiencing something very different. Ooh. They hear shots. Do they engage? Do they know it's just a single player? They're not sure, so they're opting to continue driving, which is entirely fair enough. We're watching Stark in the Murado now moving a little bit further north, trying to get away from the rest of the team, or trying to guess where they are, I suspect. And they will be able to get into clearer air. Mieslapsi is continuing to take shots from behind, but generally speaking, they will be fine. El Profesor might be keeping tabs on people moving straight out of Power Grid. And those are the Santa Clowns. Let's take a look at the circle, because we've got a new one popped. Power Grid, Monty, El Pozo, and Crater Fields appear to be in the next circle. So Team Liquid on the bottom right. Picardo is still in, although they won't be next circle. And it looks like the rest of Agent Team are fine with where they are. They're going to start moving out now that Team Liquid have moved on. There should be enough room for them. And then the question becomes whether they choose to shift north or whether they choose to shift west. So no doubt we will find that very, very shortly. Chumacer is also being vacated. We've got Frankenstein from Split Lips doing some very interesting off-roading in a Murado. And this, to be honest, looks like how I drive in most of my pub games. The Murado is not a fun car to drive over the hills of Miramar, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't know that before, I'm very happy to give you that information. Now, whether from a casual or a pro point of view, it's challenging. Let's put it that way. Very much so. Dead Inside have just suffered a knock, and I believe they're outside as well. Which means the smoke's gonna have to come into play. Snicks gets taken down as well, as everyone tries to get a quick revive. Mixfight has gone down, and he's out of the game as well. Still more shots coming in. Trying to finish. This is BuffyBaF, by the way. Taking the shots into them. Manages to get Snicks as well. Oh dear, so that's Dead Inside down to 3. I believe that's Snicks second down as well. More smokes and revive time is going to be required. And will this attract other teams coming into their position? I'm looking at Team Liquid. I'm wondering if they're going to be pushing up there, but I don't think so. R&R, that's Kotek down. He's by a vehicle, so he's somewhat shielded, but there's almost no chance people are getting into him. The rest of the team are now inside this compound, sharing it with MEGR. I believe they're the meat grinders. Excellent frag grenade, by the way. It looks like it's either it's either Maizello or Majzello, and I'm going to go with Maizello. He's going to be the last player for R&R right now, looking outside, wondering what's going on. Irony is actually super close to him as well. So waiting for the rest of his team to join in. There's only one standing member at the moment for R&R. TLB is just a little bit too difficult to res right now. Ooh, people getting spotted in the window. That might actually give him a window of opportunity to go for the quick res. He is indeed. MBK over on the left. Irony inside the building now. They're going to have to make this quick. Shots fired from the corner. Letting Maizello know he's there. And he instantly gets downed as well. Now, that's a problem because TLB's is on very, very low hit points. And R&R are eliminated, ladies and gentlemen. The meat grinders will be able to take those kills. Team Liquid now moving up onto this compound. Where Team 5 are BuffyBaF are also going to be pushing up. They're actually a little bit ahead of Team Liquid. We're looking at DeadButNotInside, who, ironically, are very much inside this house. BuffyBaF trying to move in. We're on board with Squishy Met. I love anyone called Squishy. He can be my Squishy. I will love him and he will be my Squishy. Bursting into the house just to let the opposition know that they're here. Molotov going down on the stairs to prevent BuffyBaF from coming up. I think holding the stairs is probably the best chance Erkan has right now. We've got Milk Izzy as well. And Milk has got 2 players outside their compound. Managing to break a window. Will they actually be able to vault outside? I'm not sure this is a good idea. Milk can't quite make the window ledge stick. So as a result, they're going to have to hold the stairs. 2 players moving up now. Here comes the smoke. This will be good because it'll obscure footsteps as well. I like the idea. And here we go. There's the vault out. 3 players in. Milk manages to get into the next house to join their teammate. Very, very nicely played. And they know the crashed UAZ is right there. Gets 1. This is excellent play but from DeadButNotInside. Effectively getting a free frag. Milk needing to drop to the floor to heal. It's still a 2v3. They're not out of the woods yet, but that was really nice with the smokes and the vault out. Trying to blow up the car now. Milk opting to fall back. Use the house as cover instead. The vehicle will no longer be a viable means of escape. In the meantime, Team Liquid are getting involved. Oh my. From up there, and suddenly this has become a 3-way fight. Team Liquid will know that it's 2 different squads fighting each other from the frag grenades and the bullets that were flying earlier on. But at the moment, I think because Team Liquid have joined in on the action, this is going to end up being a little bit of a stalemate. K-Mind has gone down in the meantime, and that is from Split Lips from, oh my god, downtown. Really quite far there. I guess everyone's taking pot shots at the moment. Circle is now almost fully closed into zone 3. You can see the majority of El Pozo is still in, but pretty much everything else still stuck. And here we've got DeadButNotInside still fighting for this compound. There's a staircase there. You just have to trust me on that. There we go. And they are right next to BuffyBaF. Neither of whom really want to move outside and peek because Team Liquid seem to have had oversight of the situation, although they have moved down now. YKT14 now in a little bit of a tussle themselves. They're up against El Profesor. Currently, as things stand, it's a 3v3. El Profesor still with 3 people standing. INAT is out of the game. First frag coming out from Cold Blood. It lands well, but Zero Cull manages to get away. Taking no damage there. Moving further back, looking to reposition. Oh, I beg your pardon. I thought it was a 3v2. It's not. It's a 3v1. So Zero Cull is going to go ahead and yeet it out of there on the 2-man bike. We'll see if he can make it into zone. Oh, well, if he's just going to make it to the hay bales, I reckon he will be able to do that. Instantly going prone and not wanting to have to deal with anything right now. Fair enough. So that's going to be that fight. K-Mine's getting some shots down, but it's got absolutely nothing to do with the guys at the compounds earlier. They're returning fire onto split lips. Ibby has gone down, but will be revived, and as a result, Team Liquid should have all 4 members left standing with 4 kills in the bank. Trying to get a couple shots onto AG as they move up the hill there. Looks like one player has stayed stationary behind, and as a result, K-Mine's going to be focusing on him. Very low on that level 2 helmet. Elsewhere in El Pozo, we have Miikan. Well, actually, we have Mr. Expo specifically, camped out in a house right next to the entirety of Nice Try. So it's a 4v1 there, but to their south, we've got 2 members of the Santa Clans. And that... ooh, that's going to be rather rough. It looks like we are sending it. El Profesor has decided to pop up here. But Nice Try managing to hold them off at the moment. And indeed, that is completely gone for El Profesor. Sending it in that UAZ. And unfortunately, Team Nice Try will dispatch them. Nice Try, though, have got 4 players left standing. Just blowing up the truck so that nobody else can use it. They're not going to want to anyway. It was on fire to begin with. Agent team, out of Picado from that fight with Team Liquid early on, have 2 people still alive, but they're going to be in very, very different rotations as far as this is concerned. So they're just going to be playing the survival game. I don't think they're pushing onto anyone realistically. Team Liquid might actually spot them. Jeems will certainly have a view. And the meat grinders are in the compound just ahead of Agent. Malihaya has been spotted. That's not good. Manga PUBG has died to the zone, so Malihaya is the only player left for Agent Team, and Team Liquid knows where they are. Not a great position to be in, to be sure. Nexus will get that point for the kill onto Manga. Oh dear. What's going on there, Nexus? We won't talk about that, it's fine. Zero Cull now sending it to the next lot of haze bales, and just about manages to do it, but the bike is going to be rather far from him to have to deal with anything so far. We're still 10 teams left alive, ladies and gentlemen. 19.5 minutes elapsed here in game number 1. There will be 4 games, and the top 2 teams will definitely go through, plus the, I think, top 14 third place teams, or something similar to that. Zero Cool just not really wanting the rest of Nexus to send it where he is, but luckily there are a couple of haystacks further north. A lot of different angles Nexus have at the moment. The Zero Cool just has to stay quiet. Next circle's a hard shift south. That's why they're moving in. You can see pretty much all of Elposer. In fact, all of Elposer is out. Mr. Expo forced to eliminate himself, unfortunately, in the blue. There was nowhere good for him to rotate into. These guys still camped out in the compounds. To be fair, the circle has given them some chances. And Mali, to his credit, he's the last surviving member of his team, but still trying to put the hurt down and managing to get some shots onto Team Liquid. Unfortunately, runs straight into Meat Grinder, and wow, will take him out. So that's Agent Team eliminated in 9th place. We are now into our top 8 for game number 1. Zero Cool still the last surviving member of his team in the middle of that field, not really wanting to peek beyond the haystacks. Nice try, with only 2 alive now, but they have got 3 kills. They're playing Edge at the moment, and unfortunately, the Santa Clowns are very, very close to them indeed. Getting a headshot, but that might not be enough for the 2v1. Kenzo going down to very, very low indeed, and that leaves Cesar as the only remaining member. He's down to 15 hit points. A nice try goes down. Unfortunately, not able to find a good rotation into the circle. That was a little bit rough for them, to be honest, and they were sandwiched between 2 teams as well. Team Liquid seem to have the high ground and look to be doing well, but all 4 members of Nexus Rising are up, and one of them just absolutely knocks the helmet off of K-Mine, so anything can still happen in this game. Nexus, with their sniping game on point here in Miramar, will be looking for the finish onto Team Liquid, but away from the ridge. They won't be found. 1440 but times 10-8, that's a weird resolution, man. I'm not going to lie. That's a very weird resolution. But 1440 getting the credit for that knock. Will not get the kill, though. Team Liquid will be able to hop back up. Couple of pot shots towards James's direction, just really trying to keep everyone away as much as possible. And you'll have to move towards Fixie for next circle, because we have actually got another southern shift. Team Liquid are going to be fine. They've got the high ground. Nexus should be fine on the low ground, but there are so many different angles they can actually get shot from right now. Great headshot onto Chin there from Nexus 1440. But they're going to have to do a lot more than that if they want to hold this low ground position. There'll be so many people here on the right-hand side who might choose to come in. I'll be very curious as well to see where the meat grinders choose to pop in as well. They are going to have to move. This is phase number 6. Blue zone moving in. It's all change as far as this positioning is concerned. And I think the meat grinders are going to have to push in onto Team Liquid. The more they rotate north, the more they're going to end up into Nexus's clutch. And unfortunately, Nexus also have to move, or at least some of their teams still have to move. So it then becomes a little bit of a free-for-all. For that reason, the meat grinder is just going to move straight in. Zero Cool is actually very close to them, trying to sneak in as well. If he can sneak in behind them, he will. Zero Cool gets taken out by Mexi, so that's YKT out of the game. 6 teams left alive in this game. I would say Nexus and Team Liquid seem to be the ones with the better positioning so far. WoW coming out with the smoke as the meat grinders move in. I think they recognize now that they will need a little bit more than just this hill cover, and they might need some obscuring to make their way in. Team Liquid have moved up quite close in the meantime. Let's go ahead and chop on board with with James specifically. 9 kills, an excellent follow-up. Oh my god! That's a double kill with the frag grenade, and Team Liquid have absolutely meat ground the meat grinders. I was not expecting that. I thought they were going to get picked off one by one from afar, but I guess James and K-Mind might have had other ideas. So that's 9 kills now for Team Liquid, with all 4 alive on phase 6. Suddenly they are looking spectacular. Nexus still have all 4 alive, but are on the low ground here. The Santa Clowns, we haven't talked about them too much. They've got 6 kills with all 4 alive, so they're in a good position. They've got the western edge, a lot of ridges to work with. They've spotted Team Liquid as well, choosing not to engage at the moment. Tiki does have a level 3 helmet. It's not exactly fresh, shall we say. It's been a little bit sweaty. And in fact, if he gets a couple more shots against it, it might disappear entirely. So it does have to protect that a little bit. And still, these 2 houses. Actually unbelievable. Wow. We have BB and we have DeadButNotInside Still just capping it out. 2v2 in these houses that they called a draw so long ago because Team Liquid were on that very hill behind them. Not really wanting to peek out at the moment, which is to their detriment, I suspect, because there is a crate just over the top lip of this ridge. Team Liquid almost certainly get... Oh, never mind. Team Liquid have gone for it. That's a Mark 14 that has actually gone untouched. Very interesting indeed. Circle finally shifting north again, but it's getting so small right now. It doesn't matter too much. Mexi already in circle, and Team Liquid potentially rotating south. If they rotate north, it's too much in the open. If they rotate south, they'll have an angle, or rather, there will be angles on them from the compound. So this could be quite tricky for them. Mexi just really doing a little bit of a scouting mission. Waiting to see where these guys will move. The fact is, the guys in the houses don't have to move as things currently stand. Nexus are the ones who are looking in every direction because anyone could pop over a ridge top as they are in a low ground position, even though they've got nearly half the circle to themselves. That makes things challenging for them, to say the least. Team Liquid will be moving in shortly. Mexi has let them know, yes, there are still people in this compound, but there are angles where we can avoid being shot at from the windows. We just have to be mindful that there are people here. Do they choose to raid and run into one of the compounds, or are they just going to hold off the angle and focus on the other teams? Time will tell. 38 seconds left now until Phase 7 starts to close. Santa Clown's also not really moving very much. They've got the entirety of the western part of the circle. They've got the opposite view of these houses and know that there's at least one team in there. We, of course, know as observers that there are two. And then they've got Team Liquid round the other side. But Team Liquid probably won't be able to flank around without being seen by some of these guys. And that's why it is such a problem. Jeems, the only Team Liquid player still outside the circle. And oh my god. High risk strategy there, ladies and gentlemen. And this circle is doing way too much damage for Jeems to be able to just casually run out and back in. So he's going to have to do the running first and the healing later. Makes it back in though. Next circle's still on these two compounds. So Liquid are going to have to think of some sort of plan B. At least 3 out of 4 of them are in. Nexus are going to have to move. They're still on the low ground. I think they're going to rotate further east towards Team Liquid, but the terrain might actually suit them a little bit better. We're watching the point of view of Seba, looking for those heads popping up from across the hill. Spots Ibby, almost getting a shot off. K-Mine will take some damage, and that's a problem because I think K-Mine's helmet was already low. But remember, both of these teams still with all 4 alive. They're playing this rather conservatively at this point. Great headshot onto Jeems to start things off, and Nexus had the upper hand against Team Liquid. Instant smokes getting popped by the rest of the team. K-Mine going down now as well for Fixie. I think that's 2 down, and they're going to have to push, but it's very difficult for them to cover that much ground. Look at them. They're running across the field. They know exactly what's going on. It's actually the Santa Clowns that are pushing into them at the moment, and Nexus really closing the gap in terms of distance now to Team Liquid. All 4 are alive, but here comes the red zone. That's an excellent frag grenade, and Jeems will go down once more. Jeems is down. Mexi is down. It's a 2v1 trade, though. They get shot at from elsewhere, and actually, the Santa Clowns will be able to get 2 more. 1440 now suddenly finds himself shot at from 2 different teams, and this is all starting to go wrong for Nexus Rising. They've managed to get 2 kills onto Team Liquid there. That's big, but they need to finish the job. 1440 now looking for the Santa Clowns. They're holding angles against them, and that's a problem. They want to be able to push up, but Team Liquid have been eliminated. Thankfully, the Santa Clowns have third-partied both teams. Nexus, though, down to 2 players, so Team Liquid out in 5th. This is it. Both of these teams are going to have to move out of the compound. There's absolutely no question about it. Suddenly, the Santa Clowns are looking like the most likely victors in this game. They've got most of the circle to themselves. They have a numbers advantage over Nexus, who have the opposite edge. But 2 teams of 2 mean that BuffyBaF and DeadButNotInside might actually play spoiler here, and they do, instantly getting a knock onto Skinny. We're on board with Soyen, looking for a headshot onto Santa Clowns. Manages to get Nazgel. Instant heal and looking for the rest. That level 2 helmet is fine at the moment, getting the finish as well. That's a great headshot, and that's a 2nd kill. Sowian doing incredibly well, but now getting third-partied by DeadButNotInside, who, of course, had occupied the other house early, so they're going to have to move off. 2 minutes until the circle completely closes. There's not much time for these teams to get into positions towards center, but towards center is the low ground as well. 4 teams with 7 players alive at the moment. Nexus, busy snaking it in. They once had a dominant position, where after Team Liquid died, they might have been able to hold something, but it doesn't look like it anymore. 1440, playing a 1v2. Manages to get a knock onto Urkad. Milk, though, very close by in the ghillie suit, means that Nexus is going to go down. And that is it. Congratulations to BuffyBaF. What an absolutely chaotic final 30 seconds, maybe final minute of the game, where the players in those 2 houses, plus the remaining players from the teams that were slaughtering each other outside, had to duke it out. They managed to win game number 1. It's BuffyBaF, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, only the top 2 teams are guaranteed to go through. So a 5th place finish for Team Liquid is looking good, but maybe not good enough. They have admittedly got 10 kills to their name, so I'm sure that will help significantly. But that's it for game number 1. We've got one more game of Miramar before we move on to Erangel.